Blessed afternoon to all my Pan-Africanist brothers and sisters from all around the world. Thank you for tuning in on King Said So. Today I want to speak about what the EFF in the Northern Cape is organizing. There's a march that they are putting together for the 22nd of April. The economic freedom fighters led by Shadrick Tlhaole in the Northern Cape will be marching to the Premier's office, the Premier who is Dr. Zamane Soul, and rebuking what is happening in Orania. They don't want the existence of Orania to continue in our generation as we are quiet. This is the first time in my memory since the dawn of democracy that someone has organized a formal march against Orania. I've always asked, where are the leaders that are going to stand up for us, for that African estate that has been operating in South Africa? Who is going to be the voice that is going to stand up? And Shadrick Aole has raised his hand and said, not under my watch. It cannot be business as usual forever for Oranian people to continue to become discriminative, raise the racial tensions, and do what they are doing there to keep other people out because they think they are a better race. Yeah, that's what basically the Oranian people think they are. They think they're special. They think nobody can do it better than them. They think that black people are done ahead, stupid and incompetent. That is why they just want themselves as Afrikaners alone, and not Afrikaners in general, meaning colored people included. No, Afrikaner Boer, meaning the Dutch, the Germans, all of these people that don't originate from South Africa, want to come to South Africa, build an apartheid state, and then want us to be okay with it. Let us give a hand to Shadrick Tlhaole. He's a man. He's a true man. This is the beginning of us going there in Orania and going and march to tell those people that they are not going to do what they are doing. Whatever agreement they had with the Mandela generation is not going to fly with us. Oh, EFF, yeah.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're talking about the economic freedom fighters. Finally, a true leader has risen up in the Northern Cape in South Africa. The name of that leader is Shadrick Tlhaole. Remember that name and surname. Remember that name and surname. Shadrick Tlhaole is the chairperson of the economic freedom fighters in the Northern Cape, and I'm blessed to have met him outside politics, worked with him outside politics. I've met him at his office. The man is he's a razor, a sharpshooter. That's what I resemble him to. He's a sharpshooter, a fearless leader of the economic freedom fighters. I want to sing his praises today, not because I'm in the Northern Cape, because I know the man personally, not personally as in we are close and friends or whatever. I've met him and I have spoken to him. I've sat across him and I've listened to him, and I'm like, the EFF is very lucky to have such a leader in the Northern Cape. Before we go into Shadrick, I saw my brother Rabbi Road was in the radio station promoting the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture fundraising gala dinner, and I'm thinking to myself, what are you waiting for not purchasing the ticket? Are you waiting for us to say that the tickets are sold out? Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. You need to be part of this history. You need to be there at the gala dinner. You need to be in Kimberley. You need to go see the site of the school. You need to go see the big hole. You need to be around the Northern Cape and see this beautiful province of ours and understand why is it that we are building this school, the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. Go to www.paseta.co.za so that you can purchase your ticket. There's our phone numbers there. There's everything there. You can call us, you can WhatsApp us, and we will respond in time for you to purchase and make your bookings so that disappointments cannot be there. Okay, already I can tell you that accommodation The rooms that we booked are sold out. We need to get more rooms. I don't know where we're gonna get them. They're gonna be more expensive. So the 700 rand rooms are out. And mina ngifuna uyolala ezilaleni lapha in a slaughterhouse of a guest house, if you know what I'm saying. So Rabbi has been telling people all around. I would like to give him my thanks so much, my gratitude for promoting the event. He's performing on the event. He's a poet. He's an international poet. So he's coming to perform for us. It is just an honor to have him in our presence. Let's get into Shadrick. Shadrick Tlhaole is organizing a march to Orania on the 22nd of April to the Premier's office here in the Northern Cape, and he's saying enough is enough. We can't continue to kick this issue of Orania underneath the bed, underneath the carpet, underneath the table, and nobody addresses it. He was in an interview in a radio station, the Pulse of the Nation. I'm not sure which radio station it is, but he was there, being interviewed, telling the nation why it is that he is going for this march. And I'm like, Shadrick, we need leaders like you in South Africa. Shadrick, we need leaders like you in South Africa. But without talking too much, because the interview is long, let's start listening to what Abuti Shadrick said in that interview.
First things first, we're going to talk to the EFF regarding their position regarding Orania in the Northern Cape. With me is Shadrick, who's the EFF provincial chairperson in the Northern Cape. Shadrick, appreciate your time. Thanks for connecting on the National Pulse.
No, thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners, my brother.
Thank you. Right, firstly, let's understand, your party has a specific position regarding that place called Orania. What is that position?
No, look, ours as the EFF in the Northern Cape, we strongly believe that racial tension that are emanating in the country are as a result of a town like Orania, where instead of uniting South Africans, we continue to drive each other apart. And that is done with an example that Orania has got an endorsement from the leadership of President Nelson Mandela to be what it is today. And that does not fit well to the current generation of our country, where we expected that democracy would give us a better South Africa, where black and white would live together without racial segregation and so forth. So the economic freedom fighters, we continue to say that the fight to deal or to focus on Orania will not stop. It's going to continue from generation to generation up until the leadership of Orania start to appreciate that we are living in South Africa, and therefore we must promote Ubuntu.
Okay, you're saying that Orania contributes to racial tension. Give me some examples. How has it done that?
How it's doing it is, if you can check, my brother, black people are not allowed to look for residency in Orania. Would you not call that a racial segregation?
No,
black
you said racial tension, not racial segregation. Does it contribute to racial segregation? Yeah.
It contributes. If you would look at what Orania stand for and what they believe to be the best practice in South Africa, is not what we want to achieve. We are saying, as the economic freedom fighters, the country South Africa has just endorsed a land expropriation, and we feel that we should use this opportunity to say to the leadership of Orania that let's look into the deal they established from the beginning. You might not agree with me that it fuels racial tension, but anything that says white and black people cannot live together is perpetuated by racial view that black people cannot live with white people.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you, on a very personal level, I always felt it is one of the great anomalies of South Africa that Orania could exist. They argue often nowadays to say, no, they're not racially defined. They're defined by language. They're a cultural grouping. as long as you speak that language, you can live there. But I think many people have said they bear testimony that there's only the only people who are there, Afrikaners, who speak that language, who live in that place. So there's no history of any others. So it does perpetuate a divide, which has always been an anomaly for me, right? But all I'm saying is, given what it is, it was decided at that stage, right? But that has it contributed to racial tension, meaning that form of their own unique segregation which was allowed? Has it not been a case of them now simply doing what they want to do in their own lager, as long as we don't get there?
Yeah, again, congratulations to Shadrick for taking this posture. The interviewer asked, your party has a specific posture, position about Orania. Who doesn't? Which South African does not have an opinion about Orania? Racial tensions are promoted there in Orania. It's not a question. You can ask, how are they promoted? How does Orania promote, racial tensions? You're asking rubbish. That's the answer you must give. Don't ask nonsense. Don't ask a question that you know an answer to. Black and white, like Shadrick says, must live together here in South Africa. There must not be a place where black people are saying we don't want coloreds, we don't want Afrikaner, we don't want Chinese. There must never be a place like that, especially when that place is trying to be formed by the people who are not originally from here, the Dutch people. That nonsense must not fly. That nonsense must not fly. He says, how does Orania promote racial tensions? You're asking rubbish. What do you mean, how does it promote racial tensions? We are not going to ignore these things of Orania forever. There's going to be a generation, and it looks like that generation is rising up right now through Shardrick Tlhaole. He's saying, listen, why is it that we are allowing those people to live as they want? That is an African state. I mean, an apartheid state. Orania is an apartheid state, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stop calling it Orania and whatever. Let's call it as it is. Orania is an apartheid state where African people think that they are better off alone, not mixing. Go back to Germany or the Netherlands, wherever you want to go back, so that you can go live in peace there. Go to the concentration camp there that Donald Trump is offering you. Not here in our country, So land expropriation bill must be used to take the land of Orania. Yes, I agree with that, because that land was wrongfully procured through to the Department of Water Works. That was wrong in 1994. And whatever the department owned then belonged to the people. So we want our land back. We want the backclapping kingdom. They want that land of Orania back. I'll tell you about how those people were moved from that land of Orania on another date. So the racial tensions are there. For him to say Orania, the interviewer, who's this? Idiotic interview says no, the unique segregation of Orania was allowed. What rubbish is that? Allowed by who? Allowed by who? About Mandela and them, we can't speak for them because they can't defend themselves now. If they allowed that Orania must be a state of apartheid here in South Africa, we are not going to tolerate that for much longer. And Orania people know that. They know that Africans will raise up and demand their land one day. That land is not theirs. Procured with what money? Procured from who? That is our land. We want to also live in Orania. A person who wants to live in Orania must be free to go and live in Orania. And it must not be, no, you are not Tsonga, so you cannot live in Guyana. What type of rubbish is that? What type of nonsense is that? No, you are Sotho, you can't stay in KwaZulu-Natal. No, that does not work. Let's continue listening to this interview of Shadrick.
Why should it not affect us, my brother? We can't drive each other apart. I have a problem with the statement to say that you don't see Orania contributing to racial tension or racial segregation in this country. We cannot allow such. We must fight for this and continue to lobby. Hence, we are saying that they must be engaged because of what they are doing is wrong. The leadership of Mandela did this maybe because of they wanted to achieve a particular agenda. But that agenda has always been that South Africans must live together and appreciate each other, because of we're trying to build a democratic country where in which Orania should be part of that. And that Orania, as I'm speaking to you now, I want to buy land in Orania. How can I not buy land in Orania only because of I cannot speak Afrikaans when they can do business in English? So if they can do business in English and in any other form, then it means that anyone is welcome, can be welcomed to be a resident of Orania.
No, fair enough. I mean, I think, look, let's agree that the issue of segregation for me is a complete anomaly that doesn't make sense, right? All I'm saying is there proof that it's contributed to tension nationwide? Because as I ask you that, as you know, AfriForum are not very happy with the latest chant from your leader of, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, and they now taking the position after the Concord ruling yesterday. They want to take the position internationally. They're suggesting that contributes to racial tension.
Maybe I must say to you that kill the Boer, kill the farmer chant is not the President Julius Malema's chant alone. It is what we black people believe has led us to be where we are today. And that chant has never been transformed into practice, that where you see white people or black people killing each other as a result of the chant that we are singing as the EFF. It is not emanating from the EFF only. It has been there since the time of Peter Mokaba, since the time of the leadership of the ANC Youth League. All of those leaders, they're saying that. Why would you want to only say that it's us as the EFF only that are singing that song?
Because, I mean, I agree with you. I actually said it on radio yesterday. Peter Mokaba, at the time when he was the ANC youth leader, he delivered that chant often enough, right? I'm only saying that now because the EFF is the one that's most prevalent in doing so right now. But fine, let's move on. Let's go back to your big issue about Orania. So when you say you need to engage them, engage them, Orania, the people, that is, towards what angle? What do you really want?
Our angle is the same as the angle that was created by the leadership of Nelson Mandela, then that South Africa should not be a state where apartheid is practiced and implemented in dividing or fighting black people against the economy of this country, where in which then white people, they did not agree that one day they will achieve what we are celebrating today as democracy. So even for us in the Northern Cape, we believe that this fight against Orania must be fought at all costs to make sure that a generation after us will come to appreciate that there is Orania, a fertile land for the people of Africa, especially the Northern Cape, because when they bought...
Yeah, carry on.
Come again?
Carry on. Go ahead, Shadrick, carry on.
When the leadership of Karel Boshoff bought Orania, they bought Orania for a particular purpose. That purpose was for farming. There's no way in which they indicate that they bought the farm for establishing a town. But even if it was there, that should not have been accepted by the leadership of this country.
Yeah, I think we can hear clearly that the presenter, whoever it is that is interviewing with Shadrick, has got absolutely no problem with Orania, and it's so frustrating and sounds like a colored person, if I'm not mistaken. And we know, seeing what the Patriotic Alliance is doing, we know how colored people want to position themselves. They want the Afrikaner people to accept them because they themselves don't speak any African language. They speak the Dutch language. That is the problem with colored people in most cases. But anyways, that's neither here or there. It's frustrating when somebody does not see that Orania is contributing to this racial division, and you have to explain it to them. It's like, what are you explaining? It's plain and simple. How did that generation of Abu Mandela agree to that rubbish of Orania? Well, it's not them actually, because Orania was purchased before 1994. It was purchased in 1990, started building in 1991. So we know it's not the generation of Mandela really. But even after Abu Mandela, Abu abo Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, abo Cyril Ramaphosa. You have not had an ANC president take a stance, a strong stance, and say that Orania rubbish is nonsense, it's going to stop, not under my watch. All the ANC president have failed us, okay? So that is something that we must realize, that the ANC is not there to fight this apartheid state called Orania. So yes, if people want to buy land there, they must be free to buy land. It's just, but in Orania, it's far from everything. If you are buying land for agricultural purposes, yes, maybe, but it's really far from everything. Rolfontein is far from Orania. DR is far from Orania. The next small city is maybe 60-70 k's, which is Hope Town. And Hope Town is about 120 kilometers from Kimberley. So you are somewhere in the middle of nowhere when you stay in Orania. So the presenter will have to bring the issue of, kill the poor, kill the farmer, is bringing racial tension and everything. What do you think about that? Let's stick to the topic of Orania. Let's stick to the topic of Orania. We appreciate how the people who stole our land, the people who took our economy, the people who changed our surname, the people who gave us Bantu education might be intimidated by the song Kill the Poor, Kill the Farmer. We understand. That's not what we are talking about here, because the courts have already ruled about this. What AfriForum wants to do overseas, let them continue doing it. It's fine. Our courts have said this is wrong. If our courts, said this is right. If our courts said this is wrong, we will be coming here and say we disagree with the courts, but the courts have ruled. Let us listen and obey to our law. But the African people can't do that. They have to go somewhere and go into a new. So manje, we are no longer singing the song because we want to sing the song. We are singing the song to irritate and frustrate them, because the Boer is a system. We have to kill the system that that took everything from us as black people. So he's asking, what are you engaging them for? You engaging them to what end? To the end where we get our land back. To the end where African people are allowed to build there. And if they don't have money, the government must build RDP houses there. And they must stay there so that the white people can move away because they don't want to stay with black people. So that is what is happening there in Orania. We are not going to allow that in South Africa, 31 years later, that in an artificial democracy, that there is a place where apartheid is still protected. Because basically this is what is happening. Apartheid is still promoted and protected in Orania. You understand? So we cannot continue to allow those type. When we have black people that don't see a problem with Orania, I get weak, man. Like, the system of apartheid has really worked. That is why it's so important to build a Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, because those people are programming their children to do something. We are programming our children to do nothing. And when nothing is done, nothing changes. Let's continue to listen to this interview. This is the last clip. Sorry for taking so long. This is the last clip. Let's listen to Shadrick.
So having said that, whether you and I agree or not, it was accepted. Now what I'm asking you now is, do you want to have Orania as we know it now, as an Afrikaner-only enclave? Do you want that dismantled? Is that what you're asking, or are you asking for something else?
It's going to be dismantled. It's going to be an area where everyone who is a South African is allowed to stay and can stay there for as long as they wish and as per the constitution of this country. It is not an estate. It's a farm which was bought by an individual, which now, as the EFF were saying, that transaction was very wrong. It should be reversed, and by doing so, it will give lots of South Africans an opportunity to stay in Orania. My brother, let me ask you one question: that would you appreciate it that when you, as a white or a black person, you want to stay in Orania, you would be told that you can only do so if you can speak Afrikaans. What is this? What is so difficult that even when you can't speak Afrikaans, Orania people can say, we'll teach you, Shadrick, to speak Afrikaans so that we can fit in our community and we can live together.
No, I think many people have said that, so I hear you. All I'm asking you is, if that's your end goal, then what's the process? What are you going to do next about it?
What we're going to do next is to take the matter back to government. We started on Tuesday. We raised a motion without notice, section 136, that Orania should be brought back to the table for discussion, for engagement, and that should be done by government. It cannot be done by us as the EFF, but as the economic freedom fighters, because of we are in legislature, we are in parliament, we can submit a motion that it should be considered.
Okay.
Hence, on the 22nd of April, we are taking a march to the office of the Premier to start influencing and demanding that there should be engagement and discussion on this. And still on it, we are not saying white people who are staying in Orania hates black people, or black people who are not staying in Orania hate white people. We are saying you want to live together. That's why the leadership of Wynand Boshoff has reached out to us requesting a meeting, which we appreciate, and we are going to respond to that request and attend that meeting, in which we'll be able to raise all these other factors that you have asked me on, and clarify our stance as the economic freedom fighters.
All right, just the last thing. Well, I mean, we'd like to get the outcome of that meeting when it finally happens. Just a very quick answer on this one here. Fine, you're going to raise it, and you've raised it in Parliament already, and let's see what happens. Some may say by raising it now, you may actually be raising further racial tension anyway. That means leave well alone. How do you respond to that?
So they are saying that we must just leave it as it is because we don't want to touch the nerve of the racist.
Some may say that, yeah.
Not that person who said it. Is she or he saying that we must leave it as it is because of raising it to attaching a nerve of those who are racist? Because of we must raise it, even if we can pack it under the table. At some point, it will come out. At some point, someone must speak to it. And we are speaking to it, and we are determined that no generation will leave this unattended.
Okay.
The EFF is raising it. The community is going to raise it. Hence, we are requesting everyone out there that anything that looks suspicious of racial tension, it must be attended to.
Okay.
And I can tell you now, Orania is promoting such. That's why now you find political parties that loses cases in court and leave South Africa because of they know that they have the backing of Donald Trump.
Got that. We're going to have to leave it at that, Shadrick. Lots to consider from that conversation with Shadrick Tlhaole, the EFF provincial chairperson in the Northern Cape. But bottom line, Orania, as they know it, can't exist any longer. That's what they're saying. This is the National Pulse.
So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we do want Orania to be dismantled. We do want, but in that saying, we are not saying Afrikaner people, the Afrikaner people of Orania have proven to us that they don't want to stay in South Africa with South Africans. So when you want to dismantle that Afrikaner group of people, you don't want to keep them in the society. They don't want to integrate. They don't want to. They don't. If you gave those guys a chance to say, do you guys want to live alone in Robben Island? They would want to go there. They don't want to live with us. That is why we must dismantle that, because it's not only that, it is the next generation that they are injecting this poison of hate towards African people that is going to be a danger for our future generation. And remember, in our schools, Tina, we don't teach our children anything with these racial tensions. We don't teach anything about the history, how the African people got to take our land, how the Dutch people enslaved our people in their land. We don't teach them anything. History is not taught properly. That's why you want your child and your children, and you want to be associated with Paseta. That is why you want to, So the EFF, and I was with Shadrick, he told me when I was with him just a few days ago, he said, listen, I raised this motion and it was unopposed in provincial legislature. He says even the Freedom Front Plus was caught napping. You know, even there, because remember, the Freedom Front Plus is the party that gave the ANC the boost to reach over 50.1%, 50 and 1%, 50 plus 1%, meaning the ANC got 49% in the ANC in the Northern Cape, and they needed to work with one party, and that party that they worked with was the Freedom Front Plus. And the Freedom Front Plus to say their condition was allow Orania to continue to exist. At the end, they ended up taking Orania out of Thembelihle municipality. The rubbish that is happening there in Orania, the deal that our ANC made with AfriForum is what is keeping Orania apartheid state alive. So he raised it, but the way Shadrick raised it, he was making crucial, valid points that no other political party wanted to, object on it. So that is something that I need to point out. The first march will be to the Premier's office on the 22nd of April. I will be there covering it. But best believe you me, there will be a march to Orania. Maybe not from the economic freedom fighters, but the day is coming where Africans are going to be tired of that apartheid state. It's an apartheid state, that thing, ladies and gentlemen. So we want to live together. That's something that must not be mixed around in South Africa. We want to live together, you know. And the interviewer continue to ask stupid questions. He says, by raising this now, are you not raising racial tensions? Just imagine. By raising this now, are you not raising racial tensions now? In other words, live well alone. What is good, what is all right, leave it alone. We must now conform to AfriForum being there, and we must let it go. It's far from us, man. It does not bother you with anything. Why is it that you are trying to bother AfriForum? That is what the interviewer said. Weak-minded, evil people. So we don't have that fear of Afrikaner people. We will face them directly. We will face them in Orania. We are starting at the Premier's office. After that, we are going there. You understand? So the point is that it must be reasoned. It must be a point of discussion. It must be reasoned in Parliament. People must speak about it, so we know which political party stands where when it comes to Orania. I hope you guys agree on that. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Go and check Shadrick Tlhaole on Facebook, everywhere. Search him, follow him. He's a good leader of the economic freedom fighters here in the Northern Cape. One person that I look up to. So thank you so much for Shadrick for doing this. Thank you so much to the leadership of the economic freedom fighters. I was with the deputy president also. We call him Keke. He was also there. Such strong, brave gentleman. I'm telling you, I'm not praising the praises of the economic freedom fighters, of which I am, but these two individuals, I've been in close proximity with them, the deputy chair and the chairperson of Northern Cape. So I know them. They are not going to disappoint us when it comes to this Orania issue. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray, but after you pray, stand up, African child, do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.